Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Haitian American Chamber's breakfast event for the month of November. Today, we are very lucky and excited to have Mr. Junior Anderson with us from Miami-Dade Public Schools. And the topic of today's conversation is how to increase business opportunities by responding to bids from Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Now, before we get started with our program, let me go ahead and formally introduce our speaker, and he'll be able in turn to then introduce some of the members of his team. Now, Junior Anderson is a native of the United Kingdom, so get ready for that nice accent. And he has lived in the United States for 18 years. He's gained his bachelor's, a BA honors degree in accounting, finance, business administration, and is a member of the Chartered Institute Management Accounting. He worked for 4 years as a senior accountant at the Manchester City Council in the UK, and 3 years in the capacity of budget analyst at the Jackson Memorial Hospital. He has worked for the Miami-Dade Public Schools now for 15 years. His current position is the district director in the Office of Economic Opportunity. So his responsibilities entails vendor development of small and minority businesses to empower them with knowledge, so they will be able to bid successfully for contracting opportunities. So welcome, Mr. Anderson. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us this morning and to share this knowledge with our group. Please take it over.
Thank you. And I've got to say thank you for inviting us to host this event. And I want to say I could not have done this without my supervisor. I know she gets a little bit embarrassed sometimes when I tell her how great she is, but my supervisor, Jennifer Andreo, she has come up with so many different ideas to try and reach out to the community and to reach out to the Haitian community. So I'm going to let my supervisor, Ms. Andreo, speak for a little bit.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. This was very important for us. I know that, the timing may not be best, but it will be a lot available for people to view after if they're not available this morning. And we definitely want the community to know that Miami-Dade County Public Schools is here, and we are looking for businesses that are ready, willing, and available to do work with us. I don't want to burst Junior's bubble, but we do $500 million annually in procurement, and that is our spend annually. So there are a lot of opportunities, and we want everyone in the community to be able to have a piece of that pie. So again, welcome and thank you. I won't be able to stay on the entire time, but I will be answering questions in the chat room. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jennifer. Like I said, Ms. Andrea was the Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Diversity. So as well as this area regarding businesses trying to reach out to the community, she also deals with certain things in education as well. So honestly, she is so committed, and the whole team is committed to trying to help small businesses in the community. Also, my colleague and friend, George Wright, is the Director of Certification. Want to say hello, George?
Good morning. Thanks, Junior. We're glad to be on. Like Junior said, I am the Director of Contract Compliance, but I oversee certification in our office. And am I going to be speaking to them later, or just?
Yeah, you're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing the presentation as well. Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, and I'm glad to be here.
All right. And then I've also got my friend here, Mr. Romeo Romulus. He's SBE Compliance Manager regarding outreach. How are you doing, Romeo?
Morning, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us. And we're excited about this potential partnership. Just glad to be here. Thank you, Junior.
All right, Romeo. All right. So anyway, we're going to start without much further ado. Could you share the screen, Romeo, please? Okay, next slide, please. All right, we're going to talk about how to increase business opportunities. So who are we? Actually, we are the 4th largest school district, if you didn't know, in the United States. And we've been A-rated for the 2nd year in a row. We are comprised of over 400 schools and roughly around about 345,000 students, and we have 40,000 employees. The school district is vast. It's roughly around 2,000 square miles. And in the school system, there's over 160 countries represented and 56 different languages. So you can see there's a lot. We encompass a lot of diversity in the school system itself, and it's quite vast. Next slide, please. Now, being the fourth largest school district, as Ms. Andreo mentioned, we roughly spend on procurement goods and services approximately $500 million. And it covers over 300 schools we have, and also supplies, materials, anything that you can think of, we purchase. So this is why it's very important. Some people sometimes talk about construction, you know, with the GOB bond that had been released years ago. But every single year, we purchase approximately $500 million worth of goods and services. So hopefully you will be one of those people that we will be awarded a contract. All right, keep moving. Now, I just want to go very, very briefly for you to understand exactly the different types of bids and solicitations. All right, for between $1,000 and under $50,000, we need 3 quotes. So basically, we need to get 3 quotes from 3 different vendors. All right, this is what we call an informal solicitation. All right, this is where sometimes you have a good chance of probably getting into getting some kind of a bid in quite easily. Now, it's very simple. Now, the next thing is the ITBs and RFPs. These are official solicitations, and these are advertised on the procurement website. And these are bids for over 50,000 plus, all right? These have to be presented to the school board. These are what we call RFPs, requests for proposals. Requests for proposals are solicitations that's not just based solely on price. So for example, you may want to be seeking out accountants or lawyers or a computer consultant. Now, we can't just go based on the lowest price on that, because in the long term, it could cost us more money. So we have to look at all different things as well, aspects of things, also like experience and looking at obviously the price too, and also the kind of service that they provide and the quality service that they provide. So points are awarded and a committee is convened for that. Now, with regards to ITBs, invitation to bid is an official solicitation, which is advertised on the procurement website. And the department will basically say, listen, we need this good or service. They will let procurement know. They will then have the specifications, look at the specifications of what they want. So for example, I always give the example of something simple like a pen. So for instance, a department says, I want a certain type of pen, right? So the department will say, I want it to be stainless steel, all right? So it's no good you submitting your bid that says it's made of plastic. So there are different specifications relating to all different types of goods and services that is that's advertised. And then yet again, with the ITB, invitation to bid, it has to go to the board. Next slide. Now, also, where do I find bids? Okay, I think I just mentioned it. You can go on procurement.dadeschools.net. Please, if you can, I think we may put this in the chat, procurement.dadeschools.net. And then you could look at bids, solicitations, non-construction solicitations, and you'll see all the procurement bids, old bids, new bids, everything that's out right now. So you can go on there. Please take note of this. Again, I'm going to repeat it, procurement www.miami-dadeschools.net, and you can look under solicitations, and then you'll see RFQs, requests for quotes, because recently we had the PPE, and George will speak about that, personal protection equipment that was set aside for certified firms. And George is going to talk about the benefits of certification, all right, which is what our department is responsible for, certification. Also, you can look at past bids, you can look at pricing. So to give you an idea of what the winning price was for an old bid relating to the industry that you're in, all right? And like I said, even upcoming solicitations are on this website. So please, this is if nothing else you come away with today, 2 things you should come away with: the procurement website and the benefits of certification, and try to get certified, which my colleague is going to talk about, George Wright. All right. Next slide. And it's up to you now, George. George is going to talk about the benefits of certification.
Okay, good morning again. I want to start by just explaining what the different types of certifications are that we offer. We have 3 types of certifications, well, 4. We have an SBE and an MBE, which is our micro and small business certification. We have our minority business certification, and we also have our veteran-owned business certification. So there are certain qualifications that you have to meet in order to become a certified firm with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I'll talk about those briefly. The first thing that you're going to want to do, and the most important thing that you're going to want to do, is you have to be a vendor with Miami-Dade County Public Schools first before you can become a certified vendor with us. So what that entails basically is that you can bid or you can do business with Miami-Dade County Public Schools as soon as you become a vendor. You don't have to be a certified vendor, but we encourage you to become a certified vendor because there are a lot of benefits, which I'm going to speak about in a minute. So the easiest way to become a vendor with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Junior put the website on one of the previous slides. Procurement.dadeschools.net has the application to become a vendor with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. However, I'm going to put my information in the chat when we get done presenting. And what you can do is, all you have to do is send me an email and just says, please give me information on how to get certified. Or if you put your email in the chat, I will send you the application directly, and then we can speak more about it offline. So some of the benefits to becoming a certified vendor, as Junior touched on for briefly, we do have sheltered market opportunities. And what that means is our boss, Miss Andreu, whenever we go to goal setting, she'll fight for the small companies and the minority companies to make sure that if markets can be sheltered or if certain points can be assigned to certain companies or certain SKUs of business, she will. So if a market is sheltered, only certified firms can bid on that particular item. So we just had a PPE bid that went out, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, and only certified firms could bid on that particular item. So it's very important that if you do qualify to become a certified vendor, you do so. Another one of the benefits is we know you guys are busy doing a million things at one time, and sometimes you're not going to know about all of the opportunities that are out there. Me and my colleague, there are 2 of us, Eric Bryant and Miss Tammy Reed, we reach out to companies on a daily basis and let you guys know what is out there, what we're buying, what you can bid on. Also, schools will be called first-tier referrals. Schools will contact us and ask us, hey, do you have any companies that can supply paper? Do you have any companies that can supply printers? And we will give first-tier referrals for certified firms to those entities. Just some basic, I guess, housekeeping of what you need to become certified. And again, I will speak to everyone on an individual basis moving forward if you need further help on how to get certified. But just the main things is you have to be in business for 1 full year. So if you are interested or you know someone that's interested, just make sure you tell them that they have to be in business for 1 full year and that their company has to have a presence in the metropolitan area, meaning Miami-Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach. Those are the main 2 things to where we can't even proceed to move forward on getting you certified, as well as the company needs to have filed taxes for that year that they were in business. So again, it's a long list of qualification things that you need to do to get certified, and I can speak to that on a more individual one-on-one basis. If you're interested in becoming certified, please put your email in the chat, and I also will put my email in the chat so you can forward it to anyone that you may know that who's interested in becoming a certified vendor with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Junior?
Yes, I think there's, okay. So why is certification so important, George? You've got it right there on the screen itself.
Well, yeah, like I said, certification is important in general because one, you're going to get the first tier referrals from our office, meaning again, you're not going to know sometimes if a principal, I don't know, sometimes there's companies who do landscaping and a principal may call us directly and say, I only want a certified firm that's doing landscaping, whatever your SKU may be, and we'll give that first tier referral. So it's very important to become certified because you'll have someone in your corner as, you know, as a small business, as a minority business, to try to assist you with getting work, getting bids, and getting some of those dollars that Miss Andrea spoke about earlier.
Thank you, George. I just want to, you know what it is? I'm asking you to repeat because I want people to understand they need to reach out to your department. You know what I mean? George is the person, his department is excellent. Once you've got the documentation, they will let you know. There's George Wright, there's Eric Bryant, and Miss Tammy Reed is the district director of the department. Once you have your documentation in order, they will process it quite quickly. But it's making sure you got your documentation in order. And as George has said, it's completely free. I mean, you don't pay a penny. The only thing you do is invest your time. That's it. All right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
I
very,
just want
and
to
honestly, it's
reiterate all that.
really not a tough process at all. Once you have all the documentation in order, it's really, I don't want to say easy because nothing in business is easy. However, it's very, we'll be there every step of the way. So any help that you need, me or someone from my office will guide you through that process. And we're not just going to send you an application and tell you to send it back to us when you're finished. You can call me anytime, email me anytime, and we'll make sure that we get you any information that you need and assist you through the process.
All right. Thank you, George. Hey, George, you make it look easy though sometimes. All right. All right. Next slide, please. And these are the certification in 3 easy steps. All right. So you can see here, we've got like the vendor, you've got to register as a vendor, as George mentioned before. And then you've got the system, the compliance system and diversity system, where you go on and you can start the ball rolling regarding the process of getting certified. And as George has just mentioned, you will read OEO reviews, all the documentation, and make sure you're eligible. And they will then email the certification letter and the certificate. I just want to reiterate this because it's so important, because I always say that a certified firm, the certification for a small business, remember, there's got the big boys out there, but the certification is like David versus Goliath, right? David is the little guy and Goliath is the big giant, right? The companies. And you've got to rock a stone to try and bring down Goliath, okay? The certification is like this little stone for the small business where you could beat Goliath, all right? It helps in trying to overcome and beat Goliath. So that's the way I look at it. It really does give you a lot of advantages and benefits, as George has just mentioned. And that's why it's important to get certified. All right, next slide, please. Now, as George mentioned before, you can't get certified unless you're a vendor, all right? And to become a vendor, you need the following documents. You need a copy of your W-9 with a tax ID number, governmental federal tax ID number. You need your local business county tax receipt. And if you're a non-profit business, you need your copy of your 501c. You also need active registration from the Florida Department of Corporation, which is SunBiz, which basically says that you're able to do business within the state of Florida, all right? And also, there's been nothing, you're not been debarred or anything at all. You're active and eligible to do business in the state of Florida. You're active. Now, where do you keep going to the next one? It's called SunBiz, and it's sunbiz.org. Now, where to find the MDCPS vendor applications? Now, there goes that website again, procurement.dadeschools.net. That's procurement.dadeschools.net, which we mentioned before, and it will be in the chat. You then go under vendors, and then after that, once you click on vendors, you go under vendors information and forms, and then you find the vendor application. All right. So you just go on procurement.dadeschools.net, click on vendors, you'll see vendor information, and you'll see the application there. All right. Next slide, please. Now, what's the benefits of becoming a vendor? Well, you register the business within the MDCPS electronic system in the procurement system. That means schools and MDCPS locations can search and select goods and services based on the business type. So if a school wants, I don't know, landscaper or whatever, they can actually go and look, and they can see that there's in the system where there are landscapers. They put what they call a commodity code. You can also receive electronic notifications from the procurement department regarding the request for quotes, which is between those where we need 3 quotes from vendors. The invitation to bids, which I spoke about before, which is an official solicitation for those bids are over 50,000 plus, and RFPs. Also, I'm going to mention it again, you can register to become certified as a small business, micro business, or minority women-owned business. And George has just mentioned the benefits of that. And you can also register to become a lobbyist. To become a lobbyist, you actually have to pay $250 to present your good or service to a staff member or person that you want to. So it could be, for instance, say if you've got that you think you've got an innovative ITS product, information technology product, then you could probably pay $250 and get registered as a lobbyist, and he could probably present it to the head of ITS or to his team. That's on a one-to-one basis. All right. All right. Next slide, please. But you know what? Just before I talk about that, also one thing I'd like to say, that when you do register, do your vendor registration with procurement, please, if within, say, a few years, like say next 3 or 4 years, you change your email address or your address, your company, you must make sure that you update all contact information, your telephone number, email, address, all these things, because in the past, people have registered their business like years ago, and then they say, why is it that I've not received any notifications regarding bids and solicitations? And the reason being sometimes is because they change their email address and it's being bounced. They've not received it. So basically, I tell people, make sure you always, and it's a simple process, you always update your contact information. Now, we've got what we call direct procurement opportunities. These are upcoming opportunities that are going to be coming out in the future. We're going to have in 2021 sometime, security cameras, video surveillance to furnish and install. So obviously, it speaks for itself. We're going to be having that coming out soon, sometime next year. We're also going to be looking to release a bid relating to termite extermination services. That's going to be sometime in 2021. Class rings is going to be released sometime, estimated release date of January 2021. That's to do with, obviously, class rings for graduation. Now, something that's coming out, it's very interesting. A few people have been asking me about this, computer repairs. Computer repairs is estimated to come out in January 2021 also. Security guard services for special events will be coming out again in January next year. And specialized repairs, rebuilding is basically regarding transmissions in the buses and the vehicle fleet that the school system has. So that will be coming out in February 2021. And fire alarm service, February 21, and also fresh produce, February 21. So basically, these are certain opportunities, upcoming opportunities that will be coming up. I also would like to mention the fact that regarding certification, that, like I said, there were some PPE solicitations that were released, and they were actually set aside only for certified firms. And people wanted to get certified at the very last minute. So what I'm saying to people, if you don't see your industry on this upcoming opportunities right now, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be released. Something's going to be coming out. So what I would suggest you do, you make sure you get prepared. All right? As I always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right? So you've got to try and make sure, prepare yourself now. All right? All right, next slide. This is our OEO team. As I said, Jennifer Andreo, who's on the call now, she's the Assistant Superintendent of Equity and Diversity. Myself, District Director for Outreach. We've got, regarding certification, the head of certification is Tammy Reed, the District Director. You can see George is the Director of Compliance and Certification. We've also got the head of compliance, who's Ms. Denise Mills and her team, and also the head of pre-qualification, who is the Executive Director, Ms. Michelle Hicks Levy. All right, next slide, please. And the Q&As. So if you've got any Q&As, that's there. I know they've been answering them feverishly. All right.
So thank you so much. That was really informative. I actually have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So historically, has the county and especially the school board procured only services? Do they ask contracts for more service-based contracts, or is it more product-based contracts? So for example, do you guys give more opportunities to people that, you know, are able to sell you PPP or, you know, fruits and vegetables, or someone who is able to give a service type, like the security guards, or, you know, like, well, product versus service-based contracts?
No, I mean, it varies. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's one more than the other. The only thing I can tell you is that, like I said, people think it's procurement that decides what needs to be done. It's really the departments. So no, I don't think there's more weight on one more than the other. It just basically depends what comes out, what the department decides that they want, and basically it's released.
And can I just add to that as well, that we're still doing construction and facilities projects as well. You know, we received a $1.2 billion bond that the voters approved to provide for new and updated, refreshed school buildings. And so we are still doing those projects. People think that that money is almost coming to an end, but it is not. And even when the bond dollars are expended, we still have our regular facilities budget and maintenance. So that's also another area. And we're always looking for subcontractors, for electricians, for plumbers, for painters, landscapers, anything to do with construction and facilities and maintenance. So that's also another area that we always are looking for people and businesses.
And you know what? And thank you for that, Jennifer. Also, the fact that we have an event that's coming up as well, with one of the general contractors that was awarded the bid. And that's coming up on Monday. It's called Messam Construction. And they're looking for subcontractors in all different areas, HVAC, lighting and fixtures, plumbing and whatever. So, and they're looking particularly too for certified firms. They're really looking for certified firms. So even though you're not going to get the business directly with us, one of the contractors that's got the contract, been awarded the contract with us directly, is looking to employ subcontractors underneath him to do this work. So, you know, that's that's another part of it too, because procurement is procurement, goods and services, as Ms. Andrea just mentioned. Facilities is facilities and construction. So those were the opportunities as well in that area as well. And it's on that's going to be on Monday on the 23rd of November at 3 p.m. If you need any information, I'll send it out to you.
That'd be great, thanks. So how many different departments do you guys have?
Well, I know there's about 300 schools. I'm not sure about how many different departments.
Several. You
So
know,
the
we're the
reason-
largest employer. We have 40,000 employees.
Yeah, because we've got about 40,000 employees. I'm not sure about the different departments, but I know that we have about over 300 schools. We've got a fair number. I know downtown, I think there's roughly about 400, we've got about 400 or 500 employees downtown, but I'm not sure about the number of departments.
So the reason I ask is you mentioned that the procurement section actually gets what they need, so the bids from the different departments in the school board,
Right.
correct?
The main departments, the big four, the big four departments are maintenance. All right. So that's why we do a maintenance matchmaking vendor fair, where we actually invite the departments heads every year from those four: maintenance, ITS, information technology, that is, food and transportation. All right. Those are the big four that they spend the most, but obviously there are other departments as well. All right. So we do a matchmaking vendor fair for maintenance. Like I said, we invite the head of maintenance or the head of the department, and then their staff are there, and then they can network with the attendees that are there. All right. They can get their contact information or whatever, and they can communicate. But the only thing is, if you want to present your good or service one-to-one, after the vendor fair, you will have to pay, you have to register as a lobbyist, all right? But the matchmaking vendor fair is great because what it is, you can gauge if people are interested in meeting you one-to-one before you decide that you want to pay that lobbyist fee, you know what I mean? And also you get good information of networking. We just had a transportation vendor fair, matchmaking vendor fair with the head of transportation, and ITS also, we did one there. So those are the main four: food, ITS, maintenance, and transportation.
Okay, great. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the supplier development program?
All right, yeah. So we do a supplier development program, which is a 6-week program. And what it is that we try and make sure we target certain students. We want to make it as diverse as possible, all right? So what we do is we look at all aspects of business. We look at like budgeting, so making sure that you separate your personal expenses from your business expenses, which is very, very important. And also make sure you're able to monitor and see how your business is doing, because sometimes people are not sure exactly where they're at with their business. So if you do a forecast, like if you do your normal household budget, right? You know what salary is coming in or what is coming in, right? You know what your lighting is going to be. You know what your gas is going to be. So you budget yourself. You got to do the same thing with business, all right? Maybe a little bit more complicated, but it's simple. I do it. I even give them a spreadsheet which they could utilize. Just a basic spreadsheet for them to look, and people have found it very useful. We go look at pricing. I tell them to go on the procurement website to look at pricing, which I've just spoken about. We look at marketing. We actually invite people to come in, marketing people to come in, that's the experts in that area, to talk about what they need to do regarding their business and stuff. We talk about access to capital. We invite people like the Beacon Council, banks. Was it the last time we did it? We did with TD Bank, Ocean Bank, and stuff. The others that actually do great loans for small businesses, and also the chamber too, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. They have a loan system too there, where you can get access to capital. And but then, even more importantly than that, we go through bids, sample bids, how to complete bids. All right. So with my colleague from Procurement, District Director Charisma Montfort, she goes through 2 weeks of what to look for in a bid, how you submit it, the different areas, where is the scope being the specifications. Remember I was talking about the fact that the scope, for that crude example, a pen. If a department says they want a plastic pen and you submit a stainless steel pen, you're not gonna win the bid, right? you completely out the specifications, right? So basically, we go through the whole thing, and then we set homework as well. For each session, we set homework, and people have found it very useful. Every single session, they seem to want more. And then the bid to me is very, very important. How to submit the bids, very, very important. And then after you graduate. Which we had a graduation this week on past Tuesday. What happens is that we assign a procurement ambassador to each graduate. So that basically means that you will be assigned a procurement professional in the procurement department. If you want to email or connect with them, they will need to connect with you also, all right? To answer any questions or whatever relating to any upcoming solicitations and stuff like that. Now, the only caveat to that is if you're going to be asking a lot of questions regarding a bid that's out on the street now, then we can't do that. That's a cone of silence. What you need to do is basically, when it's a cone of silence, you need to attend a pre-bid conference. And a pre-bid conference is where, and on the solicitation itself, people seem to forget about. They think about the submission date of the bid, the deadline for you to submit the bid, but they don't look at the pre-bid conference, where you can ask as many questions as you want, as many questions about the released bid as you want. And also, you meet people in the same industry at the pre-bid conference as well. So if for instance, if there's a bid, I'm giving a very crude example, that requires 10 trucks and you only have 4, you could meet someone at the pre-bid conference that has another 6 trucks, and you could partner with that person to make it 10. You could partner. And we're always big on partnering too, you know, sometimes regarding these kind of bids, you know, certified as a certified firm. Also, I'd like to say that even whilst I was doing the supply development program about a year ago, there was a gentleman that was into energy. You know, he was energy savings, and he didn't know how to get in. He says he doesn't know. He's been trying to get into the school board for years and he can't get in. No one seems to want that. And funnily enough, I was looking at the newspaper, and my wife came over to me and said to me, you know, basically, is this your department? And I said, no, it's facilities. This is not procurement. And there was a bid out for some type of energy audit, and they needed some people, a certified firm that could provide energy savings. And when I was conducting the supply development program that day, I told this student to go to the pre-bid conference. When he went to the pre-bid conference, you know what happened? There were different general contractors and firms there. They all wanted him because he was certified. So the certification, again, is very, very important. They were headhunting him. He said, Junior, I can't believe it. These people wanted me. You never felt wanted all this time. He said they couldn't believe. I said, I told you, the certification, because what happens is they are awarded more favorably when they've got certified firms. You know, so
Right.
I mean, you want to add on anything onto that, Jennifer, relating to that? I can't hear you, Jennifer.
You're still mute.
You're still mute.
You get additional points on many of the bids, almost all of them really. We have goals, and so you get additional points or percentage off when you're evaluating the price. So there are, as Junior and George said, there are benefits to being certified, and we encourage all of the listeners who aren't certified to contact our office and work on their certification. That should be their goal for the new year. And it's a great activity to do during the holidays, maybe if you have a little downtime. This is the time of year you can do that.
So I
Patricia.
actually see some, go ahead.
Yeah, Patricia, I know you may say that, why am I reiterating it? It's because it's so important that the people do this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to ram it home, because this is the way for the small man to try at least have a chance. I can't promise you, all right, that you'll be successful, but have a chance in winning contracts with the school board.
Yeah. So I do see some questions here. How close does the school board work with the county when it comes to getting bids? How do we get the bids?
So I did answer that in the chat, and you'll see that we work very close with the county. People confuse lots of times Dade County with Dade County Public Schools. We are two separate entities, and you do have to apply with both entities separately, but we have interlocal agreements, and so it is a reciprocal process. So if you're certified with one, then it's much easier to get certified with the other, as well as Broward County and Palm Beach County Public Schools. We all work closely together. So it's a abbreviated application process once you're certified with one entity. We are also all members of the South Florida Anchor Alliance. So we collaborate and we meet at least on a monthly basis, if not more, and talk about, different activities we can do to support each other. So we attend many of their events, they attend ours. So we all are in this together, and we all are working towards the same mission to help our small minority, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses.
What is the South Florida Anchor Alliance?
That's a group that was established. Lisa Martinez is the one who is heading that up. We work in conjunction with the Beacon Council as well, and it involves Broward and Dade County government institutions. A lot of the college and universities are also members of that alliance. And again, we did a big event. Junior can tell you about it because he facilitated that one as well. We did a virtual event a few weeks ago in which everybody collaborated and did a huge outreach event to the vendor community. Absolutely free. All of this is free. So we want to offer these services to help and support our business, especially now during this pandemic, when we know, the Beacon Council had predicted 40% of our small minority women-owned businesses will not survive this pandemic. So the support that we're offering is critical during this time. So things about CARES Act money, mom and pop grants, all of those types of that kind of information and access to loans and grants is available. And so we all collaborate together to make that information accessible and available to the community.
Great. So I have a question that was sent to me privately. Are funding awards based on job creations as some of the county's funding?
No, not really, because we look at that and we do look at the radius specifically in our facilities projects. So we have zip codes that when we are doing a new facilities project on a school, we have specific zip codes that we want to make sure we include. So we will put goals as on a project, like say we're doing a new school in Opelika, we'll say that the workforce has to come within the 5-mile radius of the school. But I think what that person could be talking about is something that's very specific to the county based on their funding structure. So we don't have those same hurdles, if you will, that the county might have because of the funding of ours is coming from, like I mentioned earlier, the general obligation bond. So I believe the county has more restrictions than we do when it comes to that.
Okay, perfect. And the last question I have is, I'm sorry, did someone have a question? Did you want to ask a question live?
Someone asked in the chat also about where to find these bids. Again, I know we've said it a few times, but procurement.dadeschools.net. That is where you can find past and current bids. So we encourage you to go on that website, and you might want to join. I don't want to promote that, but BidSync is also the software system that our procurement office uses. So if they join BidSync, they will also get updates and information from there.
Okay, great. And are there fundings cost reimbursement or advances by increment?
We don't do reimbursement or advances. What we do, we're committed again to our certified firms. So our procurement and finance department, they have instituted, and this was actually because of the vision and leadership of our superintendent, Mr. Carvalho, and our school board. They have committed to a 14-day pay period. So we don't know that a small business, might have to front some of the money to provide these goods or services. So we are committed to expediting the payment. So we do have that expedited 14-day payment option.
Great. So does anyone else have any questions?
Speak now, forever hold your peace. Listen, please, I want people to, no question is a silly question. I always tell people no question is a, if I don't know the answer, I will get back to you. I'm not going to give you wrong information. If I don't know the answer, I will get back to you and tell you what the answer is, okay? So no, please don't be afraid or nervous, shy.
Your call has been forwarded to an...
That's not the question I wanted to answer.
So I'll ask a silly question. I do immigration and family law. So I never thought that there would be an opportunity for me to work with, the county or the school system. Now, am I limiting myself by having, those, okay.
I tell everyone to still, because you never know. We didn't know that we were going to have this pandemic a year ago, right? So if someone called me and said, oh, is the school buying face shields? I would say, no, we don't buy face shields, maybe a few in a biology class, but we're not buying face shields. Now we're buying, thousands and thousands of face shields. So I encourage people that we work with accountants, right? We have accountants that come in and do audits outside of our audit department. So you never know what could happen. And we're looking for an immigration attorney, or people use our certification to leverage and do business with other entities, because so many other places accept our Miami-Dade County Public Schools certification. So because it is a free resource, I tell people, get it. It's one of those things, if you never need it, okay, well, it didn't hurt it. It might have cost you a little bit of your time and energy, but in the event you ever want to use it, it will be, extremely helpful and beneficial to you. So because it's absolutely free, I tell everyone, go ahead and apply and become certified with us.
And I'm going to say something that I don't think that as well. The fact is, I know at least 2 or 3 people. I know at least 2 or 3 people that that have utilized the fact that we certified with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and have used it to do business with Broward and also Palm Beach. I know a few people that have done that. So even if we may not have a certain we don't need a certain kind of service or good right now. It doesn't mean another school system may not have that, but they used it, as Ms. Andreo said, as a leverage to do business with other entities.
And we need outside counsel sometimes. You know, we have our own floor of attorneys, but we contract with outside counsel sometimes on cases. So again, you never know.
Never know.
Patricia, I'll be looking forward to seeing you. George will be looking forward to seeing you getting certified. I'm actually going to be following up on you. You see that, George, right?
No, I will be calling you guys for sure.
Oh,
Please expect a phone call in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
I'm going to be asking George if you followed up, okay?
I will. I definitely will. George, did you already share your contact information in the chat?
Yes, it's the email, my phone number.
Just repeat it again, George, for the listening audience.
All right. So my phone number is 305-995-1949. And the email is JWRIGHT, so JWright, the number 2, @dadeschools.net. And I will copy and paste it so it's fresh at the bottom of the chat.
Perfect.
Like I said, George is great. I mean, the whole team in certification, I can't speak highly enough of them. Honestly, they're on it all the time. When I give them when I give them information, because I'm the person that does outreach, right? So when I go out and do the outreach, they immediately go out and start reaching out to these people. All right, once they've got the information. So slam dunk.
Perfect. Screenshot. Got it.
Screenshot. Okay. Hope you got a good profile.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time early on a Friday morning to be with us. This was actually our very last Breakfast with the Chamber event for this eventful 2020 calendar year. I think we definitely ended on a very positive note. So we hope that our members watching us live and will be watching this video later on can put this information to use to bring their businesses to the next level next year. So again, thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Happy holidays, everyone. Be safe, and we'll keep in contact.
All right.
Thank
you so much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Be safe.
Bye, everyone. Take care.